Well, hello everybody. Welcome back to the Bison Workshop. I'm Bob. And today what we've got in the mix is we're going to show the proper way to install a scope onto your air rifle. And so right now, these here are just put together temporarily. So this was going to be, this is the Cattleman T2. And I'm waiting on a barrel for it. And as soon as we get that, we'll get this one back in production and ready to go. But anyway, I thought I'd use it for a donor to show how to install a rifle scope on your air rifle. So let me get a screwdriver and we'll pan you down here and show you what we got going on. Alright, so now I'm going to take this scope off and we're going to show you how to put a scope on your air rifle. Alright, so what I've got here, this one's a new one I'm trying out, and it's a Westlake 4x12x50. And I didn't realize this when I bought it, that this come in one piece. All the scope and everything is all one piece. Now, that could be bad and that could be good. I guess it just depends on what you're mounting it on. But this one here is going to be dedicated for the T2 simply because it's got a good place to put it and the eye relief is good. So we're going to choose this as our donor scope. And it's not a bad looking scope. It's got an awful lot of Picatinny rails on it. So I believe, no, they're just Picatinny. They're not dovetail and Picatinny. Anyway, so the first thing you want to do is grab you a level. Now, I have two different levels. So what we have here is a level that mounts to your Picatinny rail. So you want to decide where you're going to put this scope. And I usually put mine right there at the end, so as far as it can go without going over. So this will decide where we're going to put our leveler, because we want to be able to take this back off. So we want to leave it on at the same time. So we're going to put that right there. And I'm not real sure I like these yeah, I don't like these levelers, because the screw's not long enough and you end up taking the screw all the way out in order to get the leg down on the other. See, it just doesn't, it's awkward. To be honest with you, I think it's a piece of junk. That's just my opinion. You know how that is. Yeah, this thing's awkward to put on there. So you know what? We're not going to use this piece of shit. Because that's what that is. That's a piece of shit. If it causes you that much problem, it don't need to be in my setup. I don't like these. I'll tell you that right now. Maybe this is a review. I don't know. But anyway, they're awkward. The screw's not long enough. It comes apart every time you use it. So what we're going to do is we're going to set this level right there on the level spot. Alright, so then we'll take and screw in my sides here on my vise. And we're going to turn this side to push that gun over to the left until that bubbler, or a bubble in that, is in the center. Alright, so now we got it in the center. Now we're going to tighten up the other side to meet it. So then now we'll take this back. Until it's level. And it looks pretty level to me. So now we've got the gun tight. Now we can go ahead and put our scope on. Now this one here, it doesn't require the next step. The other kind of scope does, however. The one that has the rings and the scope. This one's all one piece, so there's no way you can get it out of level. But we'll show you how to do that. So basically what I do is I set my rings on, and then once I get my rings on, then I put the level on the rings and double check it. But since we don't have that on this one, I picked the wrong scope to do this with. So then I'll take the level, and you know that the top of this is square with the top of your breech, the round knobs here. So you just set that on top of there just like that, and you turn your scope until it's level, and then you tighten down your bolts. Now when you go to tighten your bolts down, then you tighten one. The way I do mine is I will get my gap in between my rings the same on all four sides, or all four corners. And then I'll take and just turn half a turn, half a turn, half a turn, crisscross, this X pattern. The reason being is as you're tightening that, the top ring will grab a hold of the scope and it'll turn it to where it makes your crosshair unlevel or unsquare, or however you want to put it. So we just tighten down one, just barely enough to get a little bit of tightness to it, and then come to the next one on the opposite side, on the other side, then just keep crisscrossing. So you get the idea. So this one we don't have to worry about, because it's made with the ring, so it's got to be square. If it's not square, then that means there's something wrong with the system. So then you just tighten your scope down. Well, I'm not going to tighten this one because this one's coming back off and I want it to be finger tight. So there you have how to install a rifle scope. Now you can go a step further and use your laser bore sight. You'd have to take your suppressor off, and in some cases you have to take your shroud off because of the way the bore sight works. You would just stick your bore sight in once you found the right caliber end to put on it. Put it in there, and then use a white wall like I've got right there, and then I'll just look down the scope and turn this until the crosshair meets up with the red dot that's on the wall. So I'll probably get you all up in the air here. So, but that's how you install a rifle scope. And like I said, this one here is down for the count for right now. We're going to make a shooter out of this, and I've got a surprise coming. Well, it's not really a surprise. I'm getting a T1, so I'm going to have the T1 in 22 caliber and a T2 in 25 caliber, and I think that's going to be cool. So the only difference that I've seen between the two is the stock. So far everything else seems to be the same. So the difference between them is the T2 has the wooden stock here, and the T1 has the exact same buttstock, but it's got a plastic Picatinny rail AR style forearm grip. So it's got Picatinny rails on both sides and the bottom, and that's the only difference that I've seen so far. So my barrel bands fit both the T1 and T2. So I don't know if they'll fit the M1. I've seen some differences from other guns. People who are saying theirs is not the same as everybody else's. So I don't know if there's an inconsistency there or not, but if it is, I'm sure that that will be a fix. So we're going to go more into depth on this. As soon as I get my barrel, we will tear this thing down complete. We're not going to go into the breech or the receiver or anything like that. We're not going to go into the trigger. Now I might pull the trigger cover off and show you what I've done. Basically all I did was just took 100% silicone grease and just squirt in around all the springs to quieten the spring creep up, because this thing had a bad spring creep. You could hear it real loud. You know, like a screen door when you open it. This wasn't that intense, but it was a creep that annoyed the shit out of me. So, but we're going to go into depth on this gun, and we're going to do some changing to it. Right now, I am also building a set of trains for this one. We're going to try to see if we can't get a train system for this one, because I think this would look good with the train. The Bison train, if anybody knows what that is, go back to my last video and watch that. I built a train system for the AEA, and here's a picture of that. And we have one in the printer right now printing for this. Now this is going to be just a little bit different, a little shallower, a little shorter. They won't fit each other, so we're going to try to incorporate the barrel band that has the Picatinny rail on the bottom into the mix. So these will be in pieces. What we'll do is make 3 trains. Now this one's going to have this part here mounted on the second piece that goes on. So this will slide on just like a barrel band, and it will be a barrel band. And then we'll have this barrel band out here. So this will be sandwiched in between the train, so to speak. It'll be one piece. It'll be part train and part barrel band. So we're working on that right now. So I don't know if it's going to fit. I've been having a devil of a time getting my, damn you, get out of here. I've been having a devil of a time with my 3D printers. Each one wants to do a certain job where the other one won't do the same job. So they're all temperamental in a certain way. So my original 3D printer prints these trains really nice. The other two said, no, I don't think so, I'm not going to do that. But anyway, we're getting off focus now. So that's how you install a rifle scope on your air rifle. And we'll see how this scope works. We'll see how this gun works. The next video that you see on the T2 is going to be showing you how to take this thing apart and put it back together the correct way. So we're hoping that the train will work nice on this T2. Check out my last video on that, and you'll see what I mean by the bison train. That's what we're going to call it, bison barrel train. So anyway, don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe, and definitely the most important thing you'll ever do in life is have your truck coffee. You guys have a good one. Later.